Hi, I'm Joey Barone, and this is the Joey Barone Podcast. For all our viewers that are returning, I just want to say thanks for popping by for the third episode. I appreciate it. For all our viewers that are tuning in for their first time, like and subscribe for future episodes. Without further ado, I have a very extraordinary guest for the third episode. I'd like you to welcome my very good friend, Mr. Evans. How you doing today?
Good.
Appreciate you popping by the show.
Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure. So where did you dig up that sweater from?
What do you mean?
It kind of looks like an antique.
What's wrong with it? It's a nice sweater.
It looks like something from the 80s. My generation.
Well, you look like you're going to Hawaii with what you're wearing.
Because I feel good.
Are you saying I look bad?
Nah, I guess it fits you.
So how you been doing lately?
Good.
Yeah?
You know, I've been just working as usual, getting a little closer to retirement.
How many years you got left till retirement?
About 4 more. 4 more, can't wait. So, you got a lot longer, man.
Yeah, I know I'm not as old as you.
Or as wise.
So we've known each other for how long, would you say? At least 4 or 5 years.
At least, yeah.
Because I went to high school with your son, Kyle.
Yeah.
And then, there's been a very popular thing between me and you. We got like an inside joke going. My brother originally met you, and he came over to prom to go to prom with Kyle.
Yep.
And can you kind of elaborate a little bit on the joke that we have?
Yeah, it's all about water. Everything's about water. And it all started when Joe's brother Dan came over, dressed up for the prom, and he asked me what I had to drink.
Right.
So I rattle off all these different drinks. Then he turns around and goes, "Mr. Evans, can I have a glass of water?" I said, "Really, Dan? You made me list all these fucking drinks we're having, and all you wanted is a glass of water?" So I said, "Fuck you, Dan." And he thought it was hilarious, so he wanted to tape it.
Yeah.
So he taped it, and ever since, that's what everybody wants to see. Me telling him to go fuck themselves.
So he kind of stopped doing that for a bit, and then it kind of turned into something that I kind of carried over with.
Yeah, you saw the video. You thought it was hilarious. He said, "I can run with this. I can do something with this."
Exactly. So now every time I see you, whether it's going to Wendy's or you're picking me up, we're going fishing.
Yeah, and I know what's coming. Oh, Joe's gonna make a video. Oh man, really? Again? Another fucking video.
So I'll tell you right now, I at least have over 100 videos in my phone.
Yeah, you're gonna put it into a montage, I hope, and one after another.
So yeah, do you have any water?
Joe, does it look like I fucking got water? Come on now.
So explain to me a little bit about what's going on in your life then.
Nothing. Just had my daughter get married in the summer. It was a Disney wedding. That was fun.
And how was that? Did you cry?
Yeah, I have to admit I did.
When you were doing the father-daughter dance or what?
Yep, that's when it caught me, I went through the whole ceremony, no problem. And then all of a sudden the father-daughter dance.
Oh.
Yeah, you start remembering things when they were little and they grew up.
Wiping ass and changing diapers.
Oh, yeah, that too.
So how was it walking her down the aisle then?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah? Is that, I feel like that's like every dad's dream, would you agree?
Yeah. Everybody wants to see their daughter happy.
And it's like obviously, as a father, you're kind of like always waiting for that moment.
Oh yeah, that's part of the highlight. You get when they're born, of course, that's like unbelievable. And then their first birthday, and then they go through grade school, going to first day of kindergarten.
Sure.
Then you go through grade school, and then they graduate, and you get all
like
excited about college.
Let me ask you this: as a father that has you got about 4 kids.
Yeah, 4 kids.
So, and they're all older, like 30s.
Yep. And everyone's different.
Yeah.
Every got their own personality.
So let me ask you this: is that hard as a dad, seeing them kind of gradually evolve older? No, is it not really kind of like the clock is ticking, but do you kind of as a father experience okay, like, you know, they're going to be moving out soon, and then they're a senior, graduating high school.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the evolution of parenthood. It's the evolution of
what
parenthood.
can you kind of really say about that?
I mean, it's all good, you know, because we're still close. You know, we might not all living under the roof anymore, but we're still close. We still do vacations together. You know, we still have fun. Mm-hmm. You know, we get together for Bills games sometimes. You know, so. I mean,
what's like one of the best memories you have had growing up, like with your children?
Oh, maybe the first time I took them to Disney World. When you were little.
See Mickey Mouse?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
boy! Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy seeing Mickey Mouse? Like, did you ask him for a photo?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But he was like you're too old of a fuck. So
I mean, it's it's a place for kids, but adults have fun there too. You know, you have fun watching your kids have fun. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
So you're married, correct?
Yep.
And
39 years.
Holy cow! You don't really see that nowadays.
No.
So like, I'm a millennial.
Yep.
Right, and you would be what's called a boomer.
A boomer from the 50s up to the 60s, 70s. I think that's the generation. They call them boomers because during the war, people had a lot of kids, and it was like a big boom, baby boom, and then as when it got closer to the 70s, it started tapering off. So they stopped the phrase baby boomers.
So you've been married 39 years.
Yep.
Absolutely incredible.
Yep.
You don't see that nowadays. Like,
no.
The divorce rate is through the roof. Why do you think that is? Just because we're younger and, you know...
The moral structure isn't there like it used to be. You know.
Like, what do you mean by moral structure?
Well, even to this day, when I was a kid, we went to church. You know, my parents were in the choir. We went to church. Nowadays, I go to church and it's scary because there's hardly anybody in there anymore.
Really?
Yeah, so there's not a lot. The morals, unfortunately, you know, people have hang-ups with the church, but the church was a way of people staying on the straight and narrow.
Right.
And they kind of lose their moral compass when they're not guided by anything.
Right.
I mean, a church is not perfect. It's run by man, so it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
But, you know, the way the society's kind of let their morals just run away.
It's kind of like you kind of...
Yeah, and the same thing with marriage. Marriage was like a commitment to a person. It was a vow to a person. And now people don't take that vow seriously like they used to because I think part of temptation, they lost their moral compass. They don't have the guilty conscience like they used to, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of sad. I feel bad for people because I don't want to say it's not their own fault of their own.
I mean, you have a lot of shit now that is tempting. Technology.
Oh yeah, technology's
dating
crazy.
Apps,
we didn't have half of the stuff that
I mean, when you want to go on a date with a girl, you got her number at the local diner and you're calling her on the fucking road.
Yeah, and we did things. We walked. We didn't drive anywhere. We didn't. You know, we rode our bikes and we walked places. Nowadays, I mean, it's like, I don't know. Everything's different. I mean, it's like even the movies are different. It's just different. It's just different atmosphere, and unfortunately, I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything.
Really?
I thought we grew up in a great golden age. I mean, and you don't see kids outside playing like you used to. We were always out there playing hockey, football, whatever. Now the kids are indoors playing games, which gaming.
They're glued to their phones. They're glued to their phones.
And they're glued to their phones. I mean, and gaming's okay if you could limit it, but kids get addicted to it, and that's all they want to do. And then you get a lot of heavier kids and stuff because they're not active like they used to be.
Mm-hmm. Diabetes on the rise.
Yep, and I mean, even they don't have the home cooked meals like you used to either. So the diets aren't very good. You're eating fast food all the time.
What was one of your favorite meals growing up?
Oh,
like what did your mother always cook that you absolutely did?
My mother wasn't a great cook, but the one thing she made that was really good was shepherd's pie. My mom was from England.
I've never had that.
That's a tradition.
I've never had that. What is that?
It's a concoction of ground beef with gravy, with peas and carrots mixed in, with mashed potatoes on top and melted cheese over the top, and you would bake it in the oven. So it was very good, very good.
Sounds fucking horrible.
No, my kids didn't like it, but
So to kind of go back, you're married for 39 years?
Yep, 39.
So I know we were talking a little bit about this kind of in depth, a week or two ago. Your wife is the only person you kind of have ever dated in your entire
Yep.
life.
That's right.
Really?
Yep. I started dating her, she was 14. I was 17. Well, she turned 15 a week after, but...
That is like absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, you don't see that too much anymore. Believe it or not, though, my daughter, my youngest daughter, that's about when she started dating her boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah, it's unusual. And she got married a couple of years ago. She didn't get married early like me, but, you know. So you don't see people get married early anymore. They're usually in their 30s at least, you know.
Now, I feel like it's kind of sad because I am a millennial and you're a boomer, and I kind of look at that. Well, okay, like because I'm younger, and if I ever want to get married and stuff like that, would you kind of agree that it's kind of unlikely that something like that would? I mean, it all depends on how your relationship is and the person.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a higher chance that.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, when you're dating somebody, I mean, the first thing you're attracted to is physical appearance.
Right.
I mean, everybody's human, you know. But then after that, you got to look deeper. Then you got to look into the person's personality, their morals. How do they treat other people? And if you run into a person where it's all about them, you better run the other way.
Right.
So it's just like, but sometimes it takes a while. Some people find it right away, and some people it takes a long time to find that right person. You know, but it's like you can't settle for something less. You know, you got to be looking for certain good traits in a person, because down the road that could just lead to more heartache and trouble. You know?
I absolutely love this advice you're giving.
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome. So let me ask you this: you've been married 39 years, the same person you've ever dated. Let me ask you this: what is, and I think this is a good question, what is the secret, if you will, to the secret key to a long-lasting marriage, such as yourself? It can't be shepherd's pie.
No.
So,
the thing is, with me and my wife, nobody's dominant. We're partners. We make decisions together. You know, she has her ideas. I have my ideas. I have certain things I like. She lets me do them. She has certain things she likes. I let her do them. We don't smother each other, but we like to enjoy and do things together too. You know.
Right.
You know, and that's in understanding and being open with your partner. You know, I don't think we've ever lied to each other, not once.
But here's the thing: trust in a relationship is absolutely key.
Yep.
You cannot have a relationship without trust.
Nope.
You know, if someone cheats on someone,
Yep.
or
Yep.
you know,
Yep. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people don't make mistakes, and I'm not saying that if a person cheats on a person they can't change.
But
that trust is
I
hard
honestly-
to regain once you lose it.
But I honestly feel once the cheating happens, that's it.
It is hard. It is hard. I mean, and
what do you think is? How do you think you're able to kind of get through that though? Like just.
Well, I think if you're a young couple and something like this happens,
Mhm.
but you still think you love the person and the other person doesn't want to give up yet, you need to seek counseling, because that's the only thing going to get you through it. I mean, I'm not one of these people that say give up on marriage as easily. You know, marriage is something serious.
You think that works?
Something should be till the end of time.
Do you think that's the same rules apply for an actual relationship, not just marriage?
Yeah.
Like if you like someone,
oh yeah,
fight for it.
Yep.
So, other than marriage, what other piece of advice can you kind of give as far as millennials and boomers go?
You know what, I see a lot of selfishness in society today, but you know
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Well, people only worry about themselves, and but we're on this planet together. You need to help one another. You know, you see somebody struggling, see if there's something you can do for them. I mean, you can't solve the world's problems, but just just be there to listen to a person once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can give some advice, give some advice, you know. And you know, like if you can do something for them, do something for them, you know, without expecting something in return, you know.
And I also think that goes back to your personality, like having a great heart.
Yeah, and I also think that goes back to my parents.
Yeah, why is that?
Because my parents brought me up that way. And I
brought you up what way?
To respect other people and try to help other people. But my parents had a strong faith in God too, you know, and which they handed down to me, and I try to pass it on to my kids. You know, it's not all about you all the time. I said, you know, you need to think about other people sometimes, you know. So, and I think I did a pretty good job, you know. Nobody's perfect, you know, but you know.
To kind of veer off topic a little bit, so I know, you know, you met my brother originally about 5 years ago, and then me and you kind of became close. Because I'm a filmmaker, for whatever reason, I kind of always use my friends as actors in my films.
Yeah.
And me and you kind of became very close as friends. So I came to you one day, and I'm like, hey, I'm making this mobster type film. You know, I'm going to be shooting it. Can you play like a mob boss?
Mm-hmm.
And how old are you? I'm sorry.
I'm 60 years old.
Holy fuck. So, as a 60-year-old, I think you were like, what, maybe 57 at the time?
Yeah.
I feel like at first you were kind of reluctant, but like, because you're not an actor.
No.
You know, you're like this older guy, so, you know, always forgetting your lines and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it ain't gonna get better with age.
So, how do you feel about because we made a few films together. We made the Hired Hitman, which is the one that you were the mob boss in.
Yep.
I remember at the end of the movie there's that scene where I kind of have you know, the one hitman wrap a rope around your neck and you kind of get choked out and then your head falls into the pasta. I've kind of had you do a lot of, you know, tedious shit. So, what you know, and then I had you be, what other ones did I have you be in?
The one we didn't finish yet.
Yeah. The one in 2019 that we didn't finish. But, and then I had you be in my most recent one, Goodman 2, which is the sequel to Goodman that we shot. What's your opinion on that? To kind of come to you and be like, hey, can you kind of be in these films? And what do you think about me as a director and a filmmaker, and how do you think I do as a director and a filmmaker, and how that kind of got you out of your shell?
I think you could see the progression from the different films. You could see a little bit of a progression, but like I said, I think
progression in what aspect?
Just how the sequences go and how everything flows. You know, not that the first one wasn't good. I thought it was pretty good for a first film.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, just seeing a little bit more of how organized it is and everything, and you get, with anything, experience makes you better. You know, the more experience. But like I said, some people got to go to school to learn different things too. You know, but you got to keep advancing, keep trying to get better at it, and say, okay, what can I do better? What can I figure out how to make this work better?
And kind of like make it seem like, what can I do to evolve as a director?
Yeah.
So do you like horror films?
I do. I mean, I used to like them more when I was younger. Not as much as I am now, but you know.
Because everyone keeps telling me, Joe, you got to make a horror film.
Yeah.
They keep saying you got to make a horror film, Joe.
Yeah.
Because I love horror films.
Yep.
So, do you remember when you were younger any horror films you saw, kind of growing up?
Yeah. Well, when I was real little, what scared me was the birds. Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, when you're a kid, that's terrifying when you see these birds attacking and poking guys' eyes out. yeah, that's...
How old were you when you saw that?
Oh, I think
that came out in 60?
I was probably about 6 or 7 when I first saw it. And that terrified me going to sleep, seeing a picture and the guy with his eyes poked out. You know, it's like, oh.
So did you always like walk around in the woods and see a cardinal and be like, oh fuck? Like,
no, I just looked at it when the birds would all flock together. I would just bring me back to that scene. I go, oh man, that don't look good. You know?
So, any other movies? horror films?
Yeah, I seen the first Halloween, which I thought was pretty good. You know.
Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween.
Yeah,
the one from 1978. 1978.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. You know, that was like it was pretty shocking when you seen him stabbing and put him hanging on the door.
And how old were you in 1978?
Oh, I was 16. I was 16.
And you saw the first one?
Yep.
So, did you go see it with anyone?
Not. I went to see that with my brother.
Okay.
But I remember a year later.
Mm-hmm.
This is how much of a romantic guy I am. On my first movie that I took my wife to go see, what do you think it was?
I don't know what.
Dawn of the Dead.
Really?
What's
the matter with you?
See, there's a method to the madness, though. They said when a girl's scared, she hangs on to you.
Oh, either that or she never calls you again.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But I knew she loved me already, so it's
Oh.
like it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did you end up seeing John Carpenter's Halloween 2 in theaters?
I did, but I don't even remember a lot about it. But I still remember the first one.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then I had to see the last one just to see how it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new one, Halloween Ends,
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah.
I know I was talking to someone recently, and they said the movie should be called Halloween Never Ends.
Yeah.
As long as films in the film industry are making money, they're gonna, pop out some sequels.
Yeah. You never know. Somebody might get a hold of it and spin something off of it.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think Jamie Lee's going to be. I think she's had it with them. I think she's done enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's been through enough horrible nights.
What are you going to do? Wheel her out in a wheelchair in the next one?
Halloween 25, Michael Myers is chasing Jamie Lee Curtis's cat around.
Yeah.
What else do you think we can kind of touch upon that you think would kind of be a really good informative subject?
No, we were talking a little bit about millennials.
Yeah.
And boomers and the differences, and my youngest son always, likes to mock me out and said, "Oh, boomer, way to go, boomer," and I said, "Boomer, yeah, proud of it."
Yeah.
Because boomers have a stigma, but boomers were a tough generation. Boomers did everything for themselves. They didn't need everybody to do everything for them. You look at the millennials now, and it's almost become a lazy generation.
Yeah.
It's like everything's got to be done for them, handed to them.
What
It's
the fuck
like
are you trying to say here?
Well, I mean, I even see it at work. The work ethic isn't the same. You see the work ethic of a boomer compared to a millennial, and it's just not. I'm not saying all. I don't want to generalize everybody, but I mean, and it's not their fault because technology's done this to them. Technology's. I mean, it's like we didn't have GPS back in the day.
Yeah.
We got on a map to find out where we were going. Today, if the satellite went out, these millennials would be lost. They wouldn't know how to get around. Where am I going? How do I get there?
Yeah.
I mean, with a map, you just follow the lines. This is where you go. Oh, that sign says here. Oh, that's where I go.
Yeah.
And I mean, another thing is like, you don't see as many home cooked meals like when we were growing up. Everybody's ordering out fast food now. So this is how lazy this generation has gotten. We can't even go and pick up our own food anymore. We have to have Uber Eats bring us our food. Really? But I mean, who am I? I'm just an old boomer.
So I know me and you are huge football fans.
Oh yeah.
So growing up, did you enjoy football?
Oh yeah, I always enjoyed football. I played football, little league, and through high school, so it was fun, And just watching that's the one sport that
I didn't really.
I mean, I like hockey. Don't get me wrong, I like hockey too. Baseball, I can't sit and watch it that long, But football, hockey, but mostly football. I love football. And I try not to get excited because I know our team is great right now. But I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm trying to enjoy the Buffalo Bills because I lived through the 4 Super
And
Bowls.
I was actually going to touch upon about that. Like, how old were you back in the 90s? Roughly, like throughout the 90s?
I was 30s, young 30s.
In the 90s?
Yeah.
So, how was that experience? Seeing the Buffalo
great.
Bills?
It was great. It was every weekend, like now, every weekend's a party. You can't wait for that game to start. You can't wait to see your team because your team is good, And you had the feeling like nobody was going to stop them, And I'm starting to get that feeling again. But until we win a Super Bowl, I have to hold it back a little because I went through the disappointment. We were this close to winning.
But 4 years in a row, like, because
Yep.
they're doing superb, was everyone, like, crushed?
Yeah. But we always kept on thinking, we're going to go back again next year. We're going to go back again
But
next
then
year.
eventually, after that 4th year, it stopped.
Then you could see it slowly, and the NFL changed a little with the rules of free agency came in, and it made it harder to keep your players. So you knew the core players wouldn't be together much longer because you just couldn't afford to keep everybody anymore. And the new rules were made to give an even playing field to all the teams. So not all the teams had all the best players. They had all the money, they could buy all the best players. They made it so it was more fair where you have an even shot at the players, So, but then that kind of ended the era, with the new free agency era.
Now, did you have any siblings growing up?
Yes.
How many did you have?
I had 5 siblings, 2 sisters and 3 brothers.
And weren't you telling me the one time that your brother used to work for the president?
Yep.
Can you elaborate a little on that?
Yeah, my brother, 1977, he went into the Air Force because there weren't a lot of jobs at the time. We were going through a tough recession. And he knew my parents couldn't put him through college, so he just joined the Air Force to get the college money, basically. He didn't plan on making a career of it. So he went in as a cook. He first 2 years he spent in Germany. When he got back to America, they said, we have too many cooks. We got a couple options for you. You can have an honorable discharge, or we can find another part in the Air Force to do, or you can look into some of the openings that are available. And he did, and he looked at the openings, and he seen that there was an opening for a flight steward.
Okay.
So he started out on Air Force 2 as a flight steward. And 21 years later, he was the chief flight steward on Air Force 1.
Wow.
And he retired from Air Force 1 when we were.
What years were that he was on Air Force?
Oh, God. Well, let's see. He went in 77, so it was around 80. 80, and maybe the first half of his career was on Air Force 2.
So because I'm a millennial now, whatever. Who would have been the president?
He served under Reagan,
Okay.
the first Bush, and Clinton.
So, like what? He was on the plane?
Yeah.
Did he cook on the
Oh,
plane?
yeah,
or no?
he served his meals.
Wait, so your brother cooked on the plane?
Mm-hmm.
So what? Like if Ronald Reagan wanted, an egg sandwich,
Yeah.
your brother would make it for him?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Yep. Except when Bill Clinton was on the plane,
Yeah.
Hillary had certain things that he couldn't have because she was watching his diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. What the hell?
Who the fuck's calling you on my fucking podcast here, dude?
It's a telemarketer.
Well, answer real quick. Answer real quick and tell me you're on the podcast.
Hello?
Hi, my name is Sophie from National Disability, calling on a recorded line.
It's Sophie. Tell him you gotta go and do something important.
No, I showed them.
Yeah, you can remove me from the list. Okay. Oh, will you shut? Yes. Can you shut up? Because I do not want you calling me anymore.
Well, what we do here at National Disability is
Tell her you're on the podcast.
I don't need disability. I'm not disabled. Thank you. Don't call me anymore. Bye. People, I don't know why they think I'm disabled. Do I look disabled?
A little.
Joe. Oh, Joe. Oh, boy.
Oh, fuck, my chest. Jesus. Oh, fuck.
You know how many of those calls I get a day? I must get about 10 of those calls. If it's not that, they're offering me. Well, we can do this for you. We can do that. Do you want windows? No, I don't want windows. I don't want fucking windows. If I wanted windows, I'd go to a window store.
Fuck. I got sidetracked here.
Yeah.
Fucking Sophie had to call and interrupt our episode here.
They're just doing their job, I guess. You know.
Their job is to annoy people.
Yeah.
You ever get those calls about have you heard from your car's extended warranty?
Yeah, I get them.
What do you say to them?
I don't even. Usually, if I can see it's a telemarketer, I just hang it up right away. And then once in a while, when I do answer it, I'll get a recorded message. I said, I don't even get it. Or sometimes it'll just hang up on me. I said, I just testing me to see if I'm going to pick up my phone.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. So, but I always look at it because you never know. Maybe one of the kids is calling, you know, need help or something, you know.
Yeah. So, as you were growing up, do you remember any specific moments from your childhood that were awesome?
No, I don't. I just remember having fun with my brothers, you know. We used to play football
I'm
and
sorry.
stuff.
That whole fucking conversation about the being disabled.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, we would do normal kid things, or we would go to amusement parks. I love it when my parents would take us to amusement parks. You know, we had a couple really good amusement parks here. The one's now closed. Crystal Beach was an amazing park, and unfortunately none of my kids got to experience it.
Yeah.
Adam did, but he was a year old, so he can't remember.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a great park to go to.
Your other son, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah. But Fantasy Island was there since I was a kid.
Darien Lake. Did you ever go to Darien Lake?
Darien Lake, yep. I seen that park evolve from a campground. It was just a campground at one time.
Darien Lake?
Yeah, it wasn't even an amusement park. They used to have the only thing they had there was a campground and a petting zoo, and then they expanded it to an amusement park, and then it got really big, you know. And now it's probably the biggest one around here. But I still like Fantasy Island because that's for little
That's dying
kids.
down. I mean, I know they shut down, but then they reopened it.
Yeah, they're reopening it, and then they got to invest some more money into it. But all the previous owners would just milk it for what it could get out of it, and they wouldn't put more money into it.
Yeah.
But back in the day, that was a great park for kids, for young kids, you know. So, but when you get older, you start going traveling to find good amusement parks. I like Cedar Point. Cedar Point's a fun park to go to. So, and I also went to, what's the name of the park?
Boomer Park?
Yeah, Boomer Park. No,
You walk around. You
trying-
walk around and get a thing of oatmeal.
Busch Gardens. That's it. Busch
Gardens?
Yeah, that's a good park too.
So to kind of veer back, you know, you're gonna retire in what, roughly 4 years?
Yep.
So you'll be what, 64?
Yep.
Okay.
64, 65, around there.
And then let me ask you this: you know, you've worked the majority of your life, so
Yep.
is that going to kind of be, you know, hard to adjust to that? And what are your plans after you retire?
No, I mean, I'll find things to do. I mean, I'll go fishing. I'll do other things. Maybe take up golf. You know.
You know, I think golf is the most boring sport they've ever.
Well, you know what? I've never tried it yet. Putt-putt is my extent of my golf. You know.
Yeah.
But Kyle says he thinks I'd like it. He says you just go out with your buddies, drink beer, and blast your music and hit the ball. He says as long as you don't take it too seriously and get too frustrated. You know, I'm somewhat competitive, but you know.
So what are your so are you going to be sad to kind of, are you going to enjoy your time off?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I've worked long enough. I can't wait to retire.
How many years have you worked?
Oh, well, since I was probably 18, you know, so mostly factory jobs.
Uh-huh.
So, but I've had some good jobs and shitty jobs, so it's just all part of it, you know.
So, like, what do you have to say as far as, like, our friendship, you know, and kind of how it has kind of evolved as well?
Well, it's like...
Other than us making videos constantly.
Yeah. I mean, it's like... that's kind of like your film business. It's just like progressing. It progresses. It changes from year to year as you get older. And and you get to know a person pretty well.
Because it's weird. It's almost like, I know Kyle's your son and Kyle's the same age, but it's almost like I'm your son.
Yep. And you know what? I try to be a fatherly figure to everybody I come across. You can have wisdom, but if you don't spread it, and what good is it? And I try to, like, even at work, the kids that are working, I'll try to help them out once in a while and show them. But I try to treat everybody like they're my kid. It's just the way I am. That's kind of how my dad was. It's ingrained in us, I guess. And I mean, you can't do everything for everybody, but you can, if you can help a little bit, and just guide people, and that's all. My wife's the same way, so.
Not to kind of be too personal here, but are both your parents passed?
Yeah, both my parents are passed.
And how old were they when they both passed?
My dad was 79, and I think my mother was 82.
Was that hard?
It was. I think it was harder for my father because he was the first one to go.
Oh, okay.
But it was a little easier for my mother because I know she was going to finally meet with him up there.
Sure.
And she missed him.
Oh, yeah.
So I knew it was time, So, but you still miss them, but they're part of you.
Right.
They're all part of you.
And
I'm lucky I had my father as long as I could.
Why that?
My father.
Were you closer with your mother
issues.
or your father?
I was close with both of them. And my father, I almost lost him when I was 18. My father had a heart attack at 48, and then he had another heart attack at 50. And then he had to have bypass surgery, which with 1980 they were just starting it here in
What's
Buffalo,
bypass surgery?
where they open up your chest and they take your arteries from your legs and cut out the clogged parts and replace them with arteries from your leg.
They
And
replaced it to the heart.
And he had 4 arteries replaced, and usually that surgery lasts for about 12 years, but it lasted him 22 years.
Okay.
And then he had another heart attack when he was in his early 70s. A couple of the arteries had clogged up again. They didn't want to touch him here in Buffalo because he had diabetes and other health issues. So he went to Cleveland Clinic where they said, "Oh yeah, we can do it," So they did the 2 arteries there, and it gave him another 7 years. So, but he had a lot of health problems in his life, but it never let him slow him down. They always went up. My mom and dad went on vacation, went to England a couple times. My dad had he had a kidney removed. He had a hip replaced. He had prostate cancer. Then he had skin cancer, and then he's had about 3 or 4 heart attacks. So we used to tease him and say he was a cat with 9 lives. And the day he died, it didn't dawn on us until the day he died, but all the coincidence of the number 9 on the day he died on the March 9th, 2009, and 9 days short of his 79th birthday, and the time of death was 9:09.
Really?
So it's like
it's crazy how that shit works out.
Yeah, it's just like it was funny thinking about how he was a cat with 9 lives, and those
awesome.
things worked out like that, So, but he's up there looking down, So
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all good, his time. It was his time,
So we're going to kind of wrap this up shortly here. And so, folks that are watching, this is the part of the show where I take the next 5 minutes, because we don't have much time left, but I'm going to take the next 5 minutes and we chat with our guests about a random movie that they enjoy. And Mr. Evans, I feel like one of the coolest movies that I think we can both relate to, that we both enjoy, is The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Robbins, oh yeah, he was great. Morgan Freeman, great movie.
You know, he basically gets accused of something he didn't do early in the film, and then he goes to jail.
Yep.
And what is your opinion on that? Just to kind of never give up hope?
Yep, and he figured out a way. You know, and the warden was using him for his purposes.
Right.
You know, but he figured out a way how to get out. But probably my favorite part of the movie, though, is at the end when he meets Morgan Freeman on the beach. That's probably.
It's kind of like their friendship is kind of.
Yep.
And
he gave Morgan Freeman hope. You know.
Right.
You know.
I think my favorite part of the movie is just, you know, when Andy Dufresne, Tim Robbins' character, like the warden, you know, because he's missing and shit, and then the warden, basically, you know, he goes into Andy's cell, and he throws the rock through the poster, and then he rips his hand through, and then you know it cuts, and then it's like there's a huge hole in the wall.
Yep.
And then that little violin shit like starts playing.
Yep.
And then you know, good scene.
Yep.
Good scene.
Yep.
Great movie overall.
Yep. Yeah. It's on my top 10 list, I would say.
Anything else you can remember about the movie that you enjoyed?
You know what? Now that we're talking about that movie, I forgot a lot of the things that happened in that movie. That makes me want to go back and watch it. It really kind of makes me want to go back and watch it because it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, Mr. Evans, I just want to say I love you.
Love you too, Joe.
I appreciate you popping by. And actually, there's one last thing I almost forgot about.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, I actually, because I love you so much, I got you a gift.
Really, Joe? You didn't have to get me a gift.
No, I know. Yeah, it's not much, right? It's not much, but I just wanted to tell you, you know, like that I got you a little something there. So, you know, it isn't much.
What you got?
Yeah.
Really, Joe? Fucking really, Joe? Are you kidding me?
What are you doing?
Fuck you, Joe. Go fuck yourself.
Ah, fuck. Alright, that's the end of the episode.
Mr. Evans, it's flavored. Fuck your flavoring! Get the fuck out!
Just take your clothes off.
Fucking Joe! What the fuck's the matter with you? Are you retarded? I don't want to fucking quiz work. Joe, fucking asshole! I told you I don't want to fucking Timbit.
Couldn't share the pain while she suffered.